What's up you guys, my name is Juan Antonio and today's topic is 5 tips to improvise over one chord. Before I get on with the lesson, I want to invite you guys over to my Patreon account where you can join as a Patreon and enjoy all sorts of benefits, including the backing track that I just used to improvise over the performance at the beginning of the video. So I hope to see you guys there. Now on to the lesson. The first tip I'm going to share with you guys is to insinuate a certain harmony over that one chord. So for this, I mean you can play all certain types of arpeggios over that one chord, and it's going to be creating a little bit of movement. And that's exactly what we want to start doing over these types of progressions, because it's just one chord and it could get kind of stale. So at the beginning of the video, over that performance, I'm just doing an A minor vamp. Now over an A minor chord, you could apply that A minor arpeggio. You could do C major 7. I'm adding a couple notes in between. And you could do E minor 7. You could do a little bit of F. So you can mix and match over those different arpeggios, and it's going to start creating a little bit of movement. Instead of just playing that A minor 7 arpeggio up and down, you can add all of those different arpeggios that I just mentioned. The second tip I'm going to share with you guys is to use different scales. Now, if you're playing over just a minor chord, you can play all the different types of modes. You could even add a little bit of harmonic minor, melodic minor, or even just any type of other scale that would work over a minor type functioning chord. In terms of the actual backing track, be a little bit careful because I am insinuating a little bit of Aeolian within the actual movements of the little voices and added extensions of the backing track. So be careful with that, but you can apply any of the different modes if it's just a one chord vamp. Now tip number 3 is to be aware of the composition. Now what I mean by this is you're going to start using different motifs and motif development. So a very standard solo form is to do a motif, develop the motif a little bit, then just explode using a bunch of different notes. It's more like a tension and resolution type of approach. Now, a good exercise for this type of thing is to use the call and response. I have a really good exercise for this, and all you got to do is just you create a certain motif, you repeat that motif, and then you answer it. Let me show it to you really quick over the backing track. So as you can listen, I did a motif, a very simple motif. I repeated the motif and then I answered with a completely different type of line. And that already starts creating a little bit of composition. You can then return to the motif after creating that line. You can do all sorts of things. You could start developing the second motif. Again, there's all sorts of things you could do. The important thing is to be conscious of the idea of creating a mini compositions, because that's exactly what you're doing. When improvising, you're creating a mini composition in the moment. The next step is to create tension and resolution. Now this is something that you can start garnering a little bit just by doing exactly what the exercise that we just did. In a sense, you are creating tension and resolution just by creating a motif, repeating it, and then answering that resolution. That's like a question and answer type of a situation. Now, a good way to create tension and resolution is exactly what I said at the beginning. You can start implying different chords. So for this type of thing, you could imply that you're playing a 5 chord, which would be in the key of A minor. It would be an E7 chord or an E7 altered. And what you would do to create a little bit of tension is to play the altered scale and to resolve to the A minor chord. So it would be something like this. And with that example, you're almost doing a little bit of most of the tips that I already gave you guys. You're playing different scales, you're incorporating the altered scale, you're creating tension and resolution, and you're implying different chords. You're implying a 5 chord going back down to the 1 chord. Alright, so that's it for the video. Remember, you can follow me on any type of social media. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook. Quick shout out to Patron Raul Tise for supporting the channel and helping make this video happen. And if you want to learn more about lessons, you can go to my website, juanantoniomusic.com. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and thanks for watching.